Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So last Thursday we had a patch and there was a numerous amount of changes to companions. And I've got to go and test out all those companions and see how effective they now are. I'm going to go through basically just the damage ones, excluding the healer ones, as I still have to cover them as a whole. So I still need to find out a way that I want to test them properly and how much they actually heal to be able to then compare their effectiveness to each other. There have been a few changes and they do intend to make a good few more going forward. So yeah, I'm not prepared just yet to take on the big challenge of testing all the healer companions. As they have said right here, we'll continue to iterate on the healer balance. So I'll wait a few more weeks probably. But we can test the damage of the companions. And in particular, I also want to add to the list the new companion. This guy right next to me, the Chickenmancer, Earl the Chickenmancer. Basically, he's going to summon chickens and he can deal a ton of damage. We'll check him out in just a sec. So I have my DPS document right here. You can find that linked below, companion document, which has then all the single target damage companions tested here. All the ones I have obtained. I missed one or two, and if you have them on the live server unbound, you feel free to copy them to preview for me and I can go and test them. But this is everything I have right now, and yeah, there's been some updates. We can see all of them listed here. Angel of Protection basically got her aura buff to Protective Ward instead of just giving 5% to the summoner, 3% to the entire party. Very nice. She also will actually heal you now a bit, and we'll have to compare that later. She doesn't deal any damage, so she's out of the question there. Barbarian Shaman does deal some damage, also can give you some temporary hit points, and she can heal you a little bit. However, let's check her damage. It used to be at 13,000 DPS. That's the mark we compare them all against each other. So if we sort, like, say, here, you can see these are all the top single target damage dealing companions, the ones you'll want in a boss fight. You'll want at least one of the top 10 or so. But back to here, we can see it was at 13,000 encounter DPS, and it did get improved up to 17,901 DPS. So it has got a bit of an improvement. Its maximum hit did seem to go down though to this value, 93,000. Now the Blasphemous Assassin did get changed so that her twin daggers doesn't stack with other assassin's twin dagger effects. So yes, her damage has been reduced in regards to using her as an party where everybody would use her, but otherwise she still is going to remain pretty much on the top there with 48,000 encounter DPS. So there's been no change there. It's just, yeah, she takes like 45 seconds to be able to get to that DPS. Cold Iron Warrior did get some improvement, so he's back up there now a little bit to 22,000 DPS. He is a hybrid companion, so he's going to be focused on hitting like multiple enemies, and then he also has a single target power as well. Then the Con Artist, he's pure multi-target. He got a little bit of a buff from this nearly 10,000 to 11,790, so not much of an improvement there at all. Maximum hit also gone up a little bit. Then the Crystalline Golem actually got a bit of a nerf. Basically his Dazing Fist won't knock around bosses anymore. I mean, it could have been pretty amusing, but he'll no longer do that. And his DPS seems to have gotten adjusted just a little bit upwards to this, and his maximum hit seems to have gone down a little bit. Again, all of these values are based on my stats. So if you have higher stats than this right here, well, you'll see all these damage values will be scaled up by how many stats you have. So the more stats you have, the better. But you're not going to have one stat affecting one companion and not another companion. All of them should be scaled equally. Next up, the Darmian Shepherd actually going to be kicking some ass now. He's gone from just 19,000 DPS up to a whopping 34,000 DPS. That's pretty viable then. His maximum hit as well has gone up pretty significant over to this. And the Dancing Shield also got a significant buff from that 14,000 up to 33,749. And his maximum hit also gone up a ton. Good improvements there, making those companions a good bit more viable. Then your Displacer Beast, which is supposedly a lockbox only companion, was really underperforming, 10,000 DPS. Has got some improvements up to 27,000 DPS, and his maximum hit goes up a little bit And he's basically he's not actually single target, he's being rebalanced to be mixed. So he's a hybrid. Basically, he will deal some AoE damage and some single target damage with his powers. In their words, that's right here, hybrid companion. Next up is the dog. The very simple dog you can obtain through leveling. He did get a boost as well, up from 21,000 to 34,204. So he also is going to be dealing significantly more damage than he did, so a much more viable starting companion, and he's all single target. Next up is the Fawn of Shalia. Basically, she got buffed so that she'll actually use her heals on the summoner, and otherwise she doesn't deal any damage, so she's irrelevant for this. Then we have Grung. His damage got buffed up also by a significant amount, up to 24,399. He is a mixed companion, so he will be dealing damage to both AoE and single target, with his maximum hit there of this gone up to 160,000. Then the Lich also got some improvements. He's gone from miserable 10,000 DPS up to 22,548. Now, he used to just be single target, but he did get improved, so his hit should now actually properly hit multiple targets. So he will be somewhat of a viable AoE companion as well. So I need to put him over to mixed instead of single target, as this beam can properly hit multiple targets, again, as they say right here. The Man-at-Arms then, this guy also got a significant buff from just like a miserable 13,000 up to 33,770 DPS, with his maximum hit also gone from 86,000 to 225,000, and he's all single target. Then the Shield Maiden, she's very similar. She also got a significant increase. She's up there like the Man-at-Arms, basically identical DPS, 33,700, with again her max hit going up to 229,000. Now we did miss out on a few of them. We actually have the Fioras we need to mention. So the Mystic Fiora and the Standard Fiora, they pretty much do the same damage as far as I'm aware. Yes, about the same damage. They did get adjusted and basically nerfed. They did have this Fiora heat, and it will now just deal damage, meaningful damage apparently, but it will no longer deal damage outside of combat. Only be in combat when it will trigger. It could be very useful for popping pinatas really quickly. Both of these guys, basically you deal one damage hit to the pinata and then just double click open another one and it would drop all its loot in the ground because you hit it. Now you'll have to manually hit them. So we might see an increase in the prices of, let's say, Squash Soup or something. But checking the list right here, we have the Fiora. She actually got a reduction to her damage, which is sad to see. She's gone down to 23,096, and her maximum hit actually gone up a little bit more, and that's her AoE hit, I believe her maximum hit is. The Mystic Fiora is up here as well, also unfortunately got a nerf, so she's down to 21,334. Basically, they had a single target hit which was not supposed to be dealing as much damage as it did, which then gave them a lot more DPS in single target, which is all this setup here. I do have like an AoE list here, but there's not many I have tested, and I need to test out a whole bunch more. I'll get to that at some point. But next up we have a Priestess of Soon. Again, she doesn't do any damage, she just sits there, and she actually got changed so that she provides 5% deflection while healing you. Again, we'll have to test healing companions in another video, so we'll leave that for then. But we move to the Sellsword. She, I believe, is all just AoE. She just attacks with her Wicked Strike. And her DPS has been improved a little bit like the Con Artist, but only from like 9,000 to 10,712. I don't know what they're doing there, but yeah, really not much improvements in my opinion. It does not make them very viable to run at all. Then there is the Skeletal Dog. It also got increased, much like just the standard dog. So he's gone from 23,000 actually up to 36,153 DPS. So he can deal pretty good damage now as well. And his maximum hit's gone up a little bit. There we go. Then we have Staldorf. He did get adjusted so that he'll no longer actually cause a threat effect. He could like jump to the top of the threat list sometimes. It was pretty inconsistent, but that should be properly fixed, and he's been rebalanced to a hybrid companion. And if we check his damage before, it was like a miserable 11,000. That's gone up to 25,518, which is about a reasonable number for, again, a hybrid companion, a mixed companion. Maximum hit is 158,913, so that's gone up as well. Now there is the increase to the Velociraptors. There is the tamed Velociraptor and the feral Velociraptor. I just have the tamed right here. Both of them are identical. I tested the tamed one, and they also deal pretty decent damage. So the tamed raptor here was at 20,000. He's actually gone up to 34,201. That is because he's a single target companion. That's, I guess, where they want single target companions. But his single target hit has gone up to 325,919. And lastly, we have the tutor, the good old tutor giving his class in session. Most people want him in groups in endgame. And how's his damage going? Well, not so great, and he was doing pretty terrible at like 6,000. Now he's gone up to 22,461. So that's pretty good. Maximum hit then only gets up to like 31,060. Not much at all. He's still not dealing that great damage, but at least a little bit more, which then is overall an increase to the damage of the team. But that is everything. And we now want to check out the event companion. You'll get him just here in the event store, I believe, the Chickenmancer. He will cost you 1,000 Zen. Once you buy him, you can claim him indefinitely, but it's always character bound on pickup. So yeah, you won't be selling him. But 1,000 Zen again. You can get a discount of 25% via invocation coupons, these celestial bags. But do I recommend getting him? Let's have a look at his damage. So this Chickenmancer guy, he basically has the abilities to throw a dagger at the target and then summoning a chicken to deal damage, and also calling forth another chicken to deal some damage. So yeah, he can be a bit of a meme. And when in combat, you can see he goes and yeah, throws like some seeds, laughs, has chicken charge at him, summons another little chicken, and yeah, they do some damage. Now, this little chicken's just a joke. Look, he's hitting for nothing. But that chicken, which just charges in, he should do the power again. Like he throws some seeds and in comes the chicken. Can hit for a massive amount. So far, out of all the companions I've tested, nearly 200 of them, he hits for the most damage in a single hit of all of them. We can see his damage right here. His DPS is pretty solid, with his maximum hit over 500,000. Again, if you have higher stats than me, all the companions will deal more damage. And yet we very well might see some other companions deal 500,000. But again, everything's scaled based on what stats you have. So with my stats, he's hitting that hard. So Earl the Chickenmancer, he is on my list just up here. We need to fill out his details. With regards to our data here, 100% flank, we just put 100 there. He is in fact a single target companion, and his maximum hit we were getting for 506.59. That is massive. We'll see that compared to the others, but the encounter DPS was 35394. Now, that's not an awful lot of DPS. Again, we'll compare that to the others. We can sort just up here, the maximum hit, go Z to A, and there we go. We can see Earl the Chickenmancer is in first place, followed by the Dread Warrior, then like the Astral Diva. These guys are hitting super hard. Now, that means they're going to be like best in slot for burst damage. If you want to get damage quickly in a fight, so let's say the phase is not very long, this guy right from the get-go throws some seeds and do his massive hit. It's enough time to have all the artifacts cast and have most of the buffs up for that hit then to be affected by, yeah, damage buffs. So let's say we check in the new trial, Zemnin's Reliquary. We can see that his overall DPS for the entire duration of the fight, let's say 5 minutes. Okay, that's not that long. That's like phase 1, 2, and a bit of 3 before we wiped. You can see this is Earl the Chickenmancer, who's 76,000 DPS. I compare that to the top one at 83,000 DPS. He's not missing much, but this type of content doesn't really favor burst damage as much. Not overall. You'd get better overall damage from a more consistent companion like the green scale bowman or pseudo dragon or so on. But you can see, just looking at his log here, his damage hit could hit for like 1.4 million. That's like, again, during an artifact call. In Tower of the Mad Mage, I would say this companion would probably be best in slot if you're going for that burst damage when your Halaster is continually phasing, disappearing off the platform, and then coming back. And just having the ability to do that big hit right from the start. And then, what's his cooldown on that again? One foul swoop, 14-second cooldown, so it's probably 20 seconds. He could probably get 2 hits off before Halaster's gone again, depending on the group, where again he throws these seeds and in comes the big chicken. Now this was a deflect, and I don't think he had combat advantage from over here, so he would deal significantly less damage. But again, going out of combat, let's say resummoning him and then going back in the fight, you can see that he'll again do this attack immediately again, throw the seeds, and there comes the chicken. It would be real funny to see a lot of these guys. But yeah, his damage does not shy away from dealing a lot. Again, that maximum hit means he has a lot of burst damage potential. If you want to rank him just against the DPS, his damage over time, you can see he's down there at about 22nd place. So there's a good few that outperform him by like nearly 10,000 DPS. Now that's not a whole lot, and in a fight again that's orientated around burst damage, he could be a lot better. Just be aware, he'll only be available now up until I believe Monday when the chicken event goes away. So if you wanted to get him, well, there's not much time left. I personally wouldn't go for him unless you're a min-maxer who wants everything in this game, who wants to squeeze out every single percentage bit of damage. Then sure. Otherwise, there's a lot cheaper options. You don't have to spend Sen for them, and you may already have them. Like, you want to have a Batiri anyway with regards to having the damage bonus on your equip powers as a DPS, so you'll probably have the Batiri already upgraded, and you could just use him as summoned. He's very viable right there. You might have a pseudo dragon from prior to module 25 where it was best in slot for single target damage. You can still just run with that. I wouldn't say it's such a big deal to go out and buy him right now. So overall, that's everything with the companion changes. Again, those were all the ones mentioned in the patch notes. Hopefully they didn't sneakily do something with some of them and not say it. That would be annoying, but they may very well have done so. And if you find that what you see with regards to my data here not matching as much to what the companion seems to be performing, again, be aware that your stats will correlate to how much damage they actually deal. The more stats you have, if you have higher than this, then they'll deal more damage. If you have less, they'll deal less. And keep in mind, again, it's with a mythic companion enchantment and 3 warlord inspirations. Yes, 3 warlord inspirations works now. Not exactly how you'd think, but it still gives the maximum amount of damage compared to just having 2 or 1. Massive thank you again to all of my channel members for their continued support. You can support me for as little as €1 a month by clicking the join button down below. So we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.